Hey you guys, what's up? Um, just thought we could hang out for a second and read this daily reflections together, and maybe just share our thoughts on it a little bit. So this is August 22nd. Seeking emotional stability. When we develop still more, we discovered the best possible source of emotional stability to be God Himself. We found that we found that dependence upon His perfect justice, forgiveness, and love was healthy, and that it would work where nothing else would. If we really depended upon God, we couldn't very well play God to our fellows, nor would we feel the urge wholly to rely on human protection and care. And that is out of the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 116. And, that's that first little section right here in the book. It's right here, first section. And to just share a little bit about that, the way my life has been going, I have to depend on God every day because basically, as I have learned, the more I try to control my life and the more I try to steer it in the direction of my will, it seems like the less gratitude I have for the people around me and just the basic gifts that God has given me already, which is really paramount, I think, to having a happy life and a happy existence. Because a lot of times I think we get caught up in this race to try to get more and more and more. We forget to look around and realize that, from day one we've been given so much, and if you just get caught up in the wanting all the time and just wanting, to get to the next place, then it's hard. It's hard to get there, I find, because without gratitude, it seems like you're always kind of like in a negative place, a negative space, and you're always kind of putting off a negative kind of invitation. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but kind of a negative spin on things. Um, and if you just look at that in a practical way, without gratitude, um, it's very hard to sort of see a realistic next step. Like you need gratitude to realistically move forward. So that's what I think about that. Let's move on to the next part. All my life I depended on people for my emotional needs and security, but today I cannot live that way anymore. By the grace of God, I have admitted my powerlessness over people, places, and things. I had been a real people addict. Wherever I went, there had to be someone who would pay some kind of attention to me. It was the kind of attitude that could only get worse because the more I depended on others and demanded attention, the less I received. I have given up believing that any human power can relieve me of that empty feeling, although I remain a fragile human being who needs to work AA steps to keep his particular principle before my personality. It is only a loving God who can give me inner peace and emotional stability. Yeah, so just to kind of go back to what I was saying before, you really do need to rely on God, because if you're just relying on your own self will, your own power, I mean, I'm not saying you need to, I'm saying I need to. If I just rely on my own self will and my own power, then the circuit of my life is incomplete. Like sometimes I need to ask God to help me to kind of step back from all this stuff that I'm trying to achieve, because I get lost in it, and to just kind of create some space between me and all that in the world, so that I can connect with the world in a positive way, Like, I was like that a lot. I was a people addict, I needed people to think of me a certain way. I needed people to look at me a certain way. Um, and I was always wearing a mask. I was always trying to like be someone in a certain way, and I would change who I was to fit certain situations. And all of that becomes very exhausting. It can wear you out. It can make you very irritable, defensive. I mean, are you? It can make me like that. I'm not saying it can make you like that, but this is the way it was for me. And it really is still like that a lot of the times. But with God's help, I am able to kind of pull it back and really create a little bit of space between that stuff and really be able to appreciate the present moment. And when I appreciate the present